Hello everybody. Today we are going to dive back into the world of communication apps, and we're going to look at an app from the Tobii company called Sono. You can see on my iPad here the Sono we're looking at is Sono Lite. Typically this is and I'll open it up and show you what it looks like. This is an app that runs $99. It's a communication app similar to Pro Loco to Go that we looked at earlier. I'll talk about some of the differences here a little bit. They also do, however, have a free version that is a little bit, it's slightly limited, but you do have full access to pretty much everything that goes on in here. I'll tell you what the limitations are in just a few minutes. But basically what this boils down to is that this app is an easy-to-use AAC app. It turns symbols into clear speech, just like several of the other apps do. This uses an app or a symbol base called the Symbol Sticks library. That's the app there. Those are the apps that are being used. You can see if you look at this, these look similar to other symbols that you'll see, but slight differences. Now, if we take a look at the board here, the way that they make this out, this is our home page. On our home page, these top two rows, all the way over to the last column, those top two rows that are in white, outlined in different colors, that is your main kind of common vocabulary home page. So this is the home page. It'll always take us back here, and those couple rows are going to be where your common vocabulary is. The bottom two rows, all the way over to the last column, are topic areas. Those are different topic areas, so we can see that that'll take us to a topic area. For example, you'll see here this is verbs. In the green, if we tap on verbs, it's going to take us to a topic area that gives us a bunch of verbs here. Now, to get back to the main screen, we go up to the top corner and tap on the home button, and that'll take us there as well. So the buttons that will take us to other categories are the ones that are in full color. The ones that speak or that start building vocabulary for us are the ones that are in white and then outlined in a different color. You'll notice several different colors here. These are color coordinated using the Fitzgerald key for memory. So what we'll see is that green indicates verb, blue indicates description, orange indicates things or nouns, purple indicates places, and so that's kind of got to be an underlying thing throughout the use of this to help people put associations together a little bit better. On the far right side of this, where you see this green area here, these are different context areas that the individual can set up for their own use. So right now we have About Me, Beach, Circle Time, Art. You can set up, I believe, up to 50 context areas when you're going through and doing this. There are 50 predefined context areas that you can use and you can access as well here. But they have a nice little predefined thing kind of built, and then teachers, SLPs, users can go in and build it a little further if they need to. So let's just kind of go into how this is used. What you would do, again, if we wanted to build some vocabulary, we can tap on a box that is white and outlined and send what we tap on up to this white box up on the top of the screen here. So if I wanted to say, I want to, and then do something, I would tap on the I, and you'd see it would go up to the top. Then I tap on want, and then I tap on to, and then let's go to the verbs area. We'll tap on verbs. It'll switch the page for us. If I say I want to play, I can tap I want to play. It's typed that out. As soon as I tap on something within verbs, it bounces back to the home page. Now if I want that to speak out loud, I go and I tap up in that white space up on the top.
I want to play.
And it's going to play that back out loud. It's going to delete it from what I have entered into that box up there. Now that box is pretty cool too, because it does more than just speak. Let's say if we go back into verbs, we'll put an I first, and let's say we want to say I played instead of I want to play or I play. But if we go into verbs now, we'll see there's an option for there's an option for play, but there's not an option for the past tense of play. So how would we indicate that? Well, we just choose the word play, and then you see these arrows forming a circle here. If we go up there and we tap on that, it's going to change our menu down here to different conjugations of the word play. So then we can go into this and change it to played, and then we can go find, you know, maybe under things there'll be a ball or something. We can choose ball. I played ball, and then we can hit speak.
I played ball.
And it'll go ahead and speak that out loud. So that conjugation thing is a really cool component for being able to, instead of having the word within verbs, instead of having, you know, 4 different things for play, 4 different things bogging down kind of this verbs area, we've got the conjugation thing that we can go in and hit, and then have access to have access to different forms of that word. Now, if we're looking at this, another thing I want to point out within this category of verb, I'm going to go back to the home page first. Look, there's right here there is 1 dot. That indicates there's only 1 page worth of this home page. If I go down to verbs, you'll see now there's 4 dots. So I have actually more than what I'm seeing on this screen right now. If I slide to the left, it'll show other other options. Slide to the left again, other options. Slide to the left again, even more options. So we'll see there's lots of options there. This button up here that looks kind of like a backwards play button, if I were to choose something and I didn't want that spoken, I can go up and tap that button, and it is the delete button. It deletes 1 thing at a time there. So that gives us kind of, that's how we access this. That's how we would move through doing different things within this. There's some other important buttons up along the top here. There's a history button. So with the history button, if we tap that, we can easily get to things that we've typed recently. And you'll see across the top we can hit in the last 30 minutes. We can choose today or earlier. Since here's 2 options, I spoke in the last 30 minutes. If I wanted to speak one of them again, I can tap on it, and it'll speak it without sending it up into the top box there. So it won't send it up here, it'll just speak it automatically for us. So we have quick access to things that we've said recently. If we go back to the home button, the thing next to history there is an option for quick phrases. With quick phrases, what we've got here is we can actually go in and whatever we hit, it's just going to speak it without adding it up into that white box. So if you wanted to say, you know, something like I'm sorry, or I don't know, or awesome, or I'm hungry, or I don't want to, very common things are built into this. We could sit here and we could tap and say,
I'm hungry.
And that just says it without going through the whole building process. So there are some quick access things here. Over to the right side of that white box in the middle, there's a button that says Keyboard ABC. If we type that, we then have access to typing something out. We could, then the keyboard's listed in alphabetic order here, so we could type something out and then tap in the white space, and it'll speak that for us. If you notice, there's 2 dots here, so there's more to the keyboard. If we slide to the left, you'll see there's some punctuation, there's some numbers, and so on and so forth. So we'll take it back to the home screen here. Those are kind of your main how you access this. We can select, the other button I guess up across the top is select context. We have our context down the right side of the screen here. We can choose what we want to show up on our main page as a context option. And if we do, we hit select context, and it shows us what all the contexts are, and then we can change those. You can see right now we're indicating the About Me one is going to be in the top row there. If we wanted to have math there or lunch there instead, we could tap lunch, and it'll put that over in that position. When we go back to the home page, we will see that lunch is in the position where About Me was. So if I go back to select content and choose About Me, I can have that on my main home screen as well. For the context areas, let's say we go into About Me. That's going to show us things about me that I'd want to say if I were talking about my room, school, playground, my phone number, my address, things that I like to do, things that I'd want to say fairly quickly to people. I can get into About Me, and I've got the important things in there to access pretty quickly. This brings me to the point where maybe I can show you a little bit about, let's see. Well, let's go back to the home page, and let's go into our quick phrases. And while we're in quick phrases, I want to show you how quick and easy it is to edit one of these things. For editing purposes, you don't see any settings, you don't see anything like that floating around in here. For editing, what you do is you would take and tap the button and just hold down on it. And it's going to give you 2 options: edit the button or the help menu. And with help, you can access the manual for this. But I'm going to go to edit the My Name Is button. And so now, right now, it's showing us in the message it's going to speak is my name is. The label is going to be the same as the message. If I wanted to add what my name is to this, I can tap in the message area, and I can type my name in there. And now I've added that. Now, if I wanted to change a symbol, I can tap on symbol, and it's going to give me the symbol that it's showing there. I don't think it has a symbol with a guy wearing a shirt named Jim, but we'll look anyway. So we can tap on to change the symbol, and here we could save an image. We could take a picture, which I guess we could even take a picture of myself for this. So I'll go ahead and do that quickly. If I looked at symbol here, it would allow me to search. I'm not going to find anything, so I can go back. If I had a saved picture of myself, I could use that. I don't, so let's just take a picture real quick. So I'll just flip the camera around here, focus it on me. We'll give it a quick smile and take a picture. And so now I'll use that, and that has become my symbol for myself. Now I can also add that to a context if I want. Here are the contexts that I have right now. I can add that if I want to one of those context areas. I can add it to a category. Right now it should be in write phrases, so it should be a phrase that'll pop up. If it were a word that I was adding, I could add it to one of these categories so that it would be properly color-coded. If it was a part, it would indicate, if we could set it as a part of speech so it was a verb, it would know how to conjugate it for me when I hit those double arrow buttons. So now that I've changed that, I'll go back and hit done. And now we've got in there, you can see my picture, and if I tap that in quick phrases,
My name is Jim.
it'll speak that back out loud in my voice there. I want to show you let me go back to the home screen, and I'm going to go back to the select context area real quick. If I'm in the select context area, here's where we can create new contexts. We see all those empty spaces there. If we tap and hold on an empty space, and it's not giving me the option right now. Well, I'll just show you this within a category. If we went into verbs and we went all the way to the end, we wanted to add a new verb that's not here, we would just hold down on one of these buttons. It would give us the add word option, and we'd go through just like how we edited that previous one. We're not going to do that right now, but you saw that's pretty simple and pretty easy to do. So that is how we would add something very simple, very straightforward. Let me take you real quick to the settings for this, because there's a couple things that are important to point out in settings, and the settings are separate from the app itself. You actually have to go into the settings menu for your iPad, and you scroll down, and you'll see at the bottom of your settings list in alphabetic order are different apps. And down here you'll see Sono Flex. If you buy the full version, you'll see Sono Flex. If not, you'll see Sono Flex Lite, which is free. And here, one of the important things we can do is look at the voices. If we choose the voice, there are 5 different voices. So you actually have a female voice, a male voice, you have 2 female voices, a male voice, and then you have children's voices as well, which is real important if you're having a child use this and that you don't necessarily want them talking and sounding like a adult male or female. So they do have child voices you can choose from in here as well, and they have male and female voices. That's important. You can set this to clear it after speaking or not. You can set categories here. If you turn contexts on, it'll go to different contexts. If you go back down to the bottom and you do a context-based layout and turn that on, what this allows us to do is if we go into SonoFlex now, instead of our home screen looking the way it did before, now it just gives us all of our contexts, and we can get quickly to context areas. Here is where we'd add context areas by tapping and holding, and it says add context. If we went and did that, then we can create a context here. Here are some of their pre-made ones. So you can see they have several pre-made options in here. We can go ahead and add more, associate words with them, and so on and so forth there, so we can create our own context areas that would make it easier for individuals to use this. I'm going to go back in, well, I'll go back into settings in a minute and change this. We'll change it back so that we've got our main screen just like we had it before on there by simply going in and turning off context-based layouts. Now if we go back in to Sonoflex, you'll see here it's back to our main homepage setting at the very beginning. If you look at the bottom, down the bottom left corner here, there's a little button that says Upgrade to Tobii Sonoflex. That's the $100 upgrade. Actually, the free version, if you're just doing it as a demo, is a very good thing for using for demos. You probably don't need to buy the full version. Here's what we found are the differences in the free version. In the free version, after every 10th message that you speak in the message window, before the message speaks, before the 10th one speaks, it'll say this is a free version, and then it'll speak the message. You get another 10 then. When you get to 20, it just says this is a free version and it doesn't speak. To get back to be able to speak messages, you have to close out the app completely. So you would hit the home button, get out of it, get to the screen, then tap the home button twice. Then you would see all the running apps pop up across the bottom. When you get to Sonoflex, you would hold it down, and then you would tap, when it starts wiggling like that, you'd tap the red minus sign. That would remove it, and that would reset it. So if you were getting it just saying that it was a trial, if you reset it like that, you get 20 more messages to use. Also, right now in the free version, you're only able to use 12 of the 50 predefined contexts. You only have access to 3,250 of the 11,000 symbols that are available. And you only have room in this to create 3 new contexts. So if you want access to more of their pre-made symbols, or pre-made contexts, more of their symbols, and you wanted to be able to create more context, and you wanted to speak without having it say anything about a free trial or having to reset, then you'd want to spend the $100 to buy it. But as a demo purpose, I think Sonoflex Lite is great. This is different from some of the other AAC apps. It's a very good one. I've heard from many of my speech and language pathologist friends that this is one of their favorites, this Sonoflex Lite, because of the way that it allows you to build what you want to say, because it seems like a simple and pretty easy association with nouns, verbs, adjectives, and so on and so forth, and it allows kind of for language development. This happens to be a favorite one, and from what I've found, this tends to be a really good app as well. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for our Sonoflex demo. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to email me at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu.